can you please get us started with your thoughts on tonight's match?
Absolutely. So, last but one game is just a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not going to sit in front of you guys and say anything that I haven't said all season. You'll watch the game, you'll see it for yourself. Individual errors, which you expect from people that are going to come in and you know, sit their first start and so on. But from a collective of players that quite frequently want to come and knock on your door to see if they can play, I just don't think that's good enough. It's not acceptable. And the good thing is now we get an opportunity to reassess the goals of the club. We know where we want to be, we know what we have to do, and now we have to make sure we select the correct and right players in the draft system and in trades to make sure we're an effective team. We can look at all the stats in the world, guys. We can talk about systems of play. We win 47% of our duels. So half of our duels are the opposition. We just give it away. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I'm not going to say, you're good people and you've sat here a long time and listened to me say the same thing. And I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's just not good enough. And I finally get some time now to assess and change it. And that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Julia?
Seeing Lainey Burdett get her first NWSL start today, what was the thought process kind of having her start in goal tonight, and how do you think that she did with that?
Do you know what? The thought process is really simple. With 2 games left, we saw a lot of Hayley Kottmeyer for a long part of the season, so we've been able to assess her. With Ash away, it was an obvious choice to give Lainey an opportunity to show what she can do. I think the first goal she'd be disappointed with, maybe the third goal, as it's gone over direct. But apart from that, kicking was good. She came for a couple of crosses. She was aggressive. I could hear her on the side of the pitch. So, look, she's going to make mistakes. She's a baby coming into the league. So, I'm pleased with her. And for the pressure she's under to play in her first NWSL game, congratulations to her. Because although she made a couple of mistakes, she'll learn from those and grow into a better goalkeeper. I'm no doubt about that.
Scott,
I think the loudest the crowd was tonight was when Sydney came in the game. Getting minutes back into her, just how important it is her to have her in the mix right now?
I'm going to tell you now, Sydney will be the most important to get minutes in. She really will. But guys, she's not ready. Like, please, I hear people screaming, put Sydney on, put Camilla on. I know from training sessions if they're ready. I'm with them all week. You might like them as players, you might like what they've done before, you might like what they can do, but they've got to be fit enough to do it. So they've got to be fit enough to be on the field, because look at the third goal. We press and can't recover. So anybody tactically who looks at me and goes, why don't we high press? Because when we high press, we get punished. That's the simple rules of football. If you don't have the physicality to press, then you hold and you counter in your units. That's what you do. But to say to me, I know what I'm doing here. I need the tools to do the correct job, and I promise I will get success for this club. But I need the tools to be able to do that. So she will be the most important person. She will be a tremendous player again. But she's not ready. And so she has to be limited to the minutes she has, because she can't move as effectively as she's going to be next season. So for me, it's very, very clear. And there are reasons behind our decisions. We see every week, every session, every second of the day, I think about my starting lineup. So we know what we see in training, and that's why we select it. If they can't perform it on a game, then we know very clearly what an Orlando Pride team needs to look like next year. You need to be psychologically strong to be in this team. If you want the ball and not make mistakes, and if she makes a mistake, you've got to be strong enough not to make a mistake. That's football, guys. That is football. And that's what has to happen next year. And I'm sure you can tell from my passion that I'm going to make that happen.
Marc, obviously, one more game left next week. The team, though, hasn't won at home since July 20th. Is there going to be some type of hunger or desire to kind of end the season at least at home on a good note?
That's a really good question. I think that we need to ask the players that, because that's the same question we'll ask all of the whole of the year. They say it is, and they want to believe that is, but they've got to do it. They've got to do it. Of course it's going to be, but guys, Take a look at your team sheets throughout the whole year. Tell me when I've had a consistent lineup. Tell me when I've been able to get a consistent lineup out. I've got a central midfielder at centre half. I've got Morgan Reid, who hasn't played for probably 10 games, 11, 12 games. I've got a winger in tradition at right back. I've got now Carson Pickett, who's the only recognised player in that position. That's the reality of the squad I've got. That's the reality. And that's nothing against those guys. They're just playing out of position. They're going to make individual errors, timings that you won't even see because it's not exploited. But they're going to, because they're doing the job for the team, because they care about the team. So what we need to do is get our recruitment strategy right. It hasn't been right for a while now. And we are now seeing the fruition of that. That's as simple as it needs to be. I can talk you through absolutely all of the tactics and why they work. Look at first half. Barring a goal that was curled in from the outside, we carved easily through a diamond shape that they had, where they narrow into a 4-3-3. We carved it through it. But then the player at the end of it has to want to be able to score, has to be in the right positions. We've talked all year about where the positioning of the centre forward should be when a cross comes in, where the midfielders should be to stop a counter-attack. The players have to do it. So I'm hoping that they bring that desire. I'm hoping, because I'm sure from me you can see that my desire is there. And I've just reminded the players about that. And I will continue to remind them until they either do it or don't. And if they don't, it's a very simple equation.
Julia.
Throughout the game, it seemed like the team was kind of building on their connection in the attacking half, but just kind of lacked that bite in the attacking third to kind of be able to get any shots on goal. What do you think that disconnect is, especially when you have, Marta and some of those players out?
It's that, Julia. It's the fact that they don't play together. They're doing training, but it's very hard to foresee. So we've looked at all week the different combinations, finishing twice in the ways that we'll get in this game. But when you have to run on a big field in heat under pressure, then it tells a lot about the mentality. I want nothing but our players to be mentally strong. I want nothing but them for all to knock on my door and say, look, I'm proving you why I should be in that team. I shouldn't have to coax anyone to run through it, like give everything. And unfortunately, there are some players that you have to do that to. And that'll be very, very clear. Like, if you don't play, so if me and you have never worked together before, well, we don't know that connection. You might ask me a question, I might take it the wrong way. On the football field, that might be a pass that's in the wrong direction, which breaks down a pass that's needed to unlock a defence. And we've not been able to do that. And I knew that we'd have some troubles. Look, I've never selected that team before, ever. I knew there'd be some troubles. But it's the basic understandings that they need, and that's from the individuals. I'm sorry, that's the individuals, and they need to learn from that.
Marc, we saw obviously Kristen Emmons get that captain's armband.
Yes.
An interesting note, after Washington scored that first goal, she kind of brought the team together and kind of showed some passion, as what I guess you would see from a captain.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that, and what kind of led to that, kind of giving her that captain's armband today?
Well, I think that she's the most. She's she got 100th cap or 100th appearance last week, so she's. If you look at the team, look at how long they've been with the Pride and how long they've represented or been in a leadership role. So it made sense to give it to Chris to be able to show what she's got. And look, it's good that she got them together. And I didn't think that she did bad tonight, but it didn't really affect everything. We still, at half time, we spoke about not letting them, taking advantage of the game. We weren't comfortable. Look, guys, they had, first half, how many, 5 shots? But what did Lainey have to do, really? What did she have to do? And equally from our flip point, which we just discussed, but look, she did well, and it was a no-brainer to give Chris because of the experience that she has.
Julia, last question.
We did see a few players like Bridget Callahan kind of stepped up tonight. She led the team in chances created. Were there any players that, when you put out that challenge of tonight being a test for them, was there anyone that you saw that kind of did step up and meet that for you?
I think you'll have to ask me that question again once I've calmed down, because I think that I'm sure there were positives out of the game, but to put a collective spin on it, there were naive mistakes, as there have been all year. I have got literally a reel of mistakes that have led to points lost, positions lost, games lost. And that for me is something that if somebody wants to come every day and be better at that's the perfect attitude. That's exactly what. If I make mistakes, it's fine. You're going to make mistakes, but learn, and accept your mistake and challenge yourself. I'm sure that there is. I'm sure that there's some good performance. I'm sure there's some people that gave their all, and it's hard in a moment like this to give a collective, but I'll assess that when I review the game, and then I'll make sure I speak to those players, and I'm sure I'll speak to you in a week about it.